survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, cloudy with a low of 3 above, then Tuesday, sunshine with a high of 9. There's something for everybody at Cafe Latte in St. Paul, from award-winning soup, salad, sandwiches, and desserts to treats from the bakery made fresh daily and a pizza and wine bar. Cafe Latte is located on the corner of Grand Avenue and Victoria Street. Check them out at cafelatte.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Couldn't cut, hitting cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Kadagi to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as we know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, we have our friend Rachel Dionne Thunder, Indigenous Protectors Movement, giving us an update. And Rachel, thank you so much for coming on. And I want to just say a big peeny geeky thank you so much for what you're doing. I was just at the powwow grounds, and I saw all the action happening. There was things happening at Little Earth, and you and your husband and Indigenous Protectors Movement is definitely doing that. They're protecting us. So I just want to give you a big shout out here. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Robert. And, I know we don't have a whole lot of time here because I know that you have some other guests coming on. So I want to be quick and concise for everybody that is watching. So my name is Rachel. I'm VP and co-founder of the Indigenous Protector Movement, also second generation American Indian movement. And in response to Metro Surge and the occupation of Minneapolis by the United States federal government through the arm of ICE, we have been in full activation here in South Minneapolis. We're currently basing our hub of operations out of Powwow Grounds and All My Relations Gallery in collaboration with the coffee shop and with Native American Community Development Institute. And really what we're doing here is a hub for donations, and the donations are specifically for our people on the front lines, our people that are doing patrols, people that are doing legal observer work as ICE is opportunistically abducting people every day off of our streets and now executing American citizens on our streets. And so the gear that we're asking for donations is personal protective equipment. So think gas masks with the full face cover, cold weather gear, hats, gloves, paintball gear, protective equipment from paintball level stuff, less lethal weapons like rubber bullets, pepper balls, tear gas, hexachlorate, all of those things. And so I do want to put that shout out. We're running this every single day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I did want to speak for a minute, Robert, on some things that are unfolding. We're getting reports in that Bovino has been removed, that he is being terminated from his position, and that him, along with the 11,000 troops that were sent here from Louisiana, will be leaving tomorrow on Tuesday, which leaves the original deployment of Metro Surge troops. And so we want to look at the loss of life, look at the escalation of violence that has been perpetrated by ICE here on the streets of the Twin Cities. And what that tells me, because we're looking at this through the lens of an authoritarian regime and how authoritarian regimes operate, and they operate under the basis of fear. That's their tactic to create the illusion of power, because in reality they don't have power. Just like how a bully operates, a bully is not a powerful person. A bully is somebody that is so unsure about themselves that the only way that they can exert any kind of form of power is through violence. And so that's what we're operating with here in Minneapolis. But the removal of Bovino, the removal of these troops, the propaganda that is being spun on a national narrative that, that all of these people that are doing legal observer work, people that are recording with their phones, neighbors watching on each other, are domestic terrorists. They're the ones that are the terrorists. They're just state sanctioned terrorists. They're the ones that murdered Renee. They're the ones that murdered Alex. They're the ones that are literally taking babies off of our streets here in Minneapolis. They're the ones that are hurting people and scaring people. And I want to speak directly to community here and say that we cannot allow them to win with fear. It's okay to be scared because these are scary times, right? And we want to acknowledge that there is fear and that a lot of our community members are scared, but we can't let that fear drive our decisions. We have to continue to make decisions and take collective action out of kindness and out of love for each other, for our communities, and for our neighbors, because that is what's going to win this. And it's the people, it's the community members, it's the boots on the grounds folks, it's the people doing the mutual aid, it's the people delivering food, it's the people that are standing guard outside of schools, the mothers, the fathers, the grandparents that are winning this on the streets of Minnesota. And the Trump administration knows that. And so whenever you see them, because that's exactly what they do. That there's been some very effective local community dispatch groups that were infiltrated by the right wing, and people that were active in those dispatches are being doxxed on X. That is another tactic and tool to disrupt, because those dispatches are so effective. They're so effective at community watch and community patrol and legal observer work that, of course, they're going to try to disrupt those. Of course, they're going to try to make us all doubt each other. This is not anything new. The federal government has always done this. Anytime a movement has power, is they try to divide the people and get the people to second guess each other and to not trust each other when they're the ones that we should not be trusting. And so we need to, what these tactics that are being used to infiltrate these dispatch groups, take that as a sign that we are winning, that is what we need to continue to keep doing. We need to continue to band together. We need to continue doing our patrols. We need to continue doing the legal observer work. We need to continue going to know your rights trainings. Don't let them scare you into thinking that you shouldn't be doing those things, because it's going to take all of us to win this. And right now we are winning. So don't let them let you believe otherwise, because if we weren't winning, they wouldn't be doing these things.
Rachel, I know you're a very busy person. Can you give, we're all over the country here. Can you give how people can support you? You mentioned the powwow grounds and how people can send us. I was there and it was amazing to see people bringing food and things, but we need more because our community is under fire.
Right. So if you are local, you can donate supplies, gas cards, cash donations right here at Powwow Grounds on 14th and Franklin in South Minneapolis. If you are not local and you still want to contribute, we do accept donations on our website, indigenousprotectormovement.com. And if you go to the menu, there's a donate button there. And that goes straight to our org to help support, build capacity right here on the front lines in Minnesota. And we're we're operating, I want to say, at 110% capacity. Everybody's spread pretty thin, but we're not going to let that stop us because it's just a way of life. It's just what we do. That's a part of being American Indian movement, is making the hard choice to get up every day and do the right thing, no matter how hard it is or how scary it is. Our late brother Hermas used to always say, strong hearts to the front. And now's the time for all of our strong hearts to come to the front, because people are literally dying on our streets.
Absolutely. Thank you, Big Peenigi. Thank you so much. Please take care of your spirit, your family, your husband, and your child. Thank you so much for coming on and doing what you're doing for our community.
Yeah. Of course. Thanks for having me on, Robert. Stay safe out there.
We'll talk to you soon, you too. Up next, Dr. Stately. This is Native Roots Radio. The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Dionne Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors. The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Dionne Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist. The exhibition, celebrating Whitehawk, closes on February 15th, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are Native Roots Radio, and we're proud to be here. We have our friend Dr. Stately here, and Dr. Stately, we have Nicole and Sarah are on. They just don't have their camera on right now. They're incognito. Welcome.
Ooh, incognito. Are they?
Well, hey, thanks.
Live?
Thanks for coming on, and
Sure.
I wanted to hand over this portion of the show with you. Hopefully they'll turn their cameras on, because they are happening here on the show. So, there's one. Welcome. How are you doing, Nicole? Good to see you.
Hello. Doing well.
Excellent. Hey, take it away, Dr. Stately.
Oh yeah, and there's Sarah. Hi.
Who's
Well,
in?
yeah, I'm Buju. So Sarah is a citizen of the White Earth Nation. Nicole is a citizen of the Red Lake Nation. See, between the two of them, I'm like Taffy. My mom was from White Earth and my dad was from Red Lake. Gumby, maybe Gumby, more like Gumby.
Are there any Ho-Chunks here to support me? Well,
you're Ojibwe. You don't need whole chunks.
Hey, don't be swearing at me. Don't be swearing at me.
I'm kidding. Anyway, sorry. Excuse me. Gee, just stole res cough there. Yeah, no, I invited Sarah and Nicole to come on because they are doing some work with our community, our unsheltered relatives. I think that's important that our people hear about and the work that they're doing. And I'll let them describe it, but I'm really proud of the work that they're doing specifically within the Twin Cities here with our unsheltered folks. And I think, yeah, it's really beautiful work. So I'm gonna let them describe it and let them take it away. I think it was Sarah's idea. I mean, maybe you guys had a conversation, I think, but you guys can talk a little bit about how you ended up doing some of this work.
Well, then Sarah should go first. Hoa.
Hoa. Bonjour. Kabegija Quain Indigenous Cause, Gawa Baba Ganakug and Donjaba. My name is Sarah Anderson. My Anishinaabe name is All Day Woman. From the White Earth Nation. I work at NAC as the development director. And I've been able to do some really amazing work with Nicole to help bring some more ceremony and prayer to our relatives on the street. And I really wanted to come on air today just to talk about that work specifically because of everything that's going on right now. And these individuals are also heavily impacted by everything that's going on. And as we know, like when the city is tense and when there's fear and enforcement, violence, uncertainty, that's when people in these, areas are at the most risk. And, history shows us that every time. And sometimes, when attention goes elsewhere and resources get pulled, the people with the least protection are left to absorb that fallout. And so I think, Nicole and I really want to bring some awareness to that and make sure that we speak on their behalf. And I also think, too, giving voice to other people who are experiencing it is just as important as Nicole and I coming on here to talk about it. We're just a couple Quay doing some of this. There's a lot, of us in the community are doing the work. And many of our unsheltered relatives are Native and, they're feeling a heavy impact of everything that's happening right now. And it might not be like driving the headlines, but, increased enforcement, heavier police presence, more sweeps, it makes our people move, makes them hide and disconnect from services. And in the dead of winter, that instability is deadly. And we have lost 2 of our relatives under the bridge due to exposure. And that alone should stop us in our tracks. And this is exactly the time to focus on this, not later, not when things calm down now, because when fear is high, care has to rise with it. And, we've seen that. We protect our own communities, and a lot of like the Native organizations are the ones that are stepping up to take care of these relatives when in fact it's all of our responsibility. And that includes the city and the governments as well. And it can be really frustrating to see them like the city spending or putting funding towards putting things up like fences, sweeps and enforcement, and humanity and providing basic care is not the priority. And the city is known for years that Native people are overrepresented among the unsheltered. And they also know that winter kills people. And so, it's like the response has been slow and fragmented and, they're focused on removal instead of care. So, I just think that care right now means warmth without fear, and it means food, it means dignity. And for Native people, it means culture and ceremony. And because grounding, prayer, connection, they are stabilizing. That's what keeps our people alive. And so Nicole and I have been really trying to bring like prayer and like a space where like the drum comes and like we are smudging with relatives and we're just kind of giving them that love and affection because, I get on like tangents about this, but like at the end of the day, like whether they're, in addiction, they're homeless, like these people deserve love and appreciation and care. And it's been probably one of the greatest honors of my life to be able to love people that are in this space. So.
Wow. Good words, Sarah. Nicole, do you have anything to add? Hoa.
I know she said everything right there. It was wonderful. So I guess I could back up a little bit. I think why Sarah chose me is their team, their harm reduction team, had been coming out to Camp Nanokasi, and that was a camp that I was helping out with. One of the organizers there, still organizing and still speaking up for the people, today. And their NAC team was like one of the main groups that came to Nanokasi and provided services consistently. They were consistent in building relationships with the people in camp and on the streets. And they always brought sage and stocked me up with sage and sweetgrass and all of the different relatives. And that was one thing that we practiced was we had a sober space. So I'm big on recovery. I'm one of the founders of Sobriety Warriors, and we're a fairly large group here in South Minneapolis and expanding. And a lot of our sobriety warriors come from Camp Nanokasi. So if you say that, like that cultural harm reduction is what we're starting to call it, right? It's prayer, it's our medicines, it's when they need it the most, when they're struggling, right? And so I just remember the first day being that I tried to smudge with people, and they said, I can't, I'm using. They had that stigma of like that they could not smudge, right? And I said, this is when you need it the most. You need these medicines to help you heal. And whoever said that you have to be so many days sober to smudge, right? And so then before you know it, everybody's smudging again now. They're using those medicines, and we're helping a lot of people from the streets get into recovery just on that basis of kindness, care, love, showing up, being consistent. I'm in recovery myself. I'm in 3 weeks or so, I'll be 5 years in recovery. And it's like,
fantastic.
It's big to be able to work in the encampments like this, to work out in the streets. And they say, how do you stay that strong? How do you do this, Nicole? And I said, it's my ceremony. It's taking time and that self-care. It's using my medicines, smoking my pipe, speaking with my spiritual advisors, and really trying to stay grounded in that. And also it's like just being consistent with the people. So I really appreciate, what the support that we've gotten out of NAC, being out here, because, I'm grassroots. I'm just out there doing this on my own time. I don't work for anybody. I'm just, I'm just out here doing that because I was out there once, and I told a lot of my friends I'd come back and get them. And then I just kept doing it because I ran into people in ceremony, and they say, hey, Nicole, remember me from camp? I'm now 3 years sober. I'm now 2 years sober. Like, this works. This different thing works. And that's what we're doing, like at the warming center and whatnot. But some people tend to say like they don't have the time or they can't or whatnot with this. But our unhoused need a lot of love and care, because what I see is a lot of people, a lot of women on those front lines helping. And with ICE being out there, it is dangerous. If it's dangerous for all of you, imagine for us women to be out there. I'm just a grandma. I got a whole family to love and care for at home, but somehow I tend to find space within me to go out in the community and show that love for our relatives, because they are our relatives.
Wow, Dr. Stately, can I call these guys your posse? This is amazing.
Sure. My little posse. I'm so incredibly proud of the work that they're doing. I remember early on when Sarah had this idea of bringing ceremony to the unsheltered with intention to make it more accessible to them. I was like, yes, absolutely. Whatever you need, you tell me what you need. You need money, you need resources, what do you need? Because I knew from my own experience, my own lived experience, I'm 40 years sober now, that like my recovery was, amplified 1,000-fold by engaging in ceremony and being around that healing work. So, yeah.
Perfect. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be right back after this short break. Please stay with us. Hoa! The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Rooted in Lakota aesthetics of geometry, color, and pattern, Dionne Whitehawk's abstractions are rich in meaning, honoring generations of Native artists. Explore her wide-ranging practice, including vivid beading paintings, sculptures, and video installations, and Dionne Whitehawk's love language. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. Plan your visit and get tickets at walkerart.org. Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
The Walker Art Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Dionne Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist. The exhibition celebrating Whitehawk closes on February 15th, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been telling you about my friends at Snap Construction, who are arguably the most well-reviewed exterior construction company in the metro. Don't just take my word for it. Take a look at all their reviews online. Winter is the most cost-effective time of the year to complete your construction project. A majority of Minnesotans choose to have their work completed on their home in the summer when they should be enjoying the weather. As a result, the demand for labor in the summer is much higher. The most cost-effective way to improve or restore your home is in the winter due to the lower demand. Right now, Snap Construction is offering an additional 30% off of labor to the AM 950 listeners on your next construction project between now and the end of February. Call 612-333-SNAP and mention AM 950 for an additional 30% off. As always, Snap Construction stands by their work with a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. Don't wait to get a free estimate by calling 612-333-SNAP or find them online at snapconstruction.com. Financing options available.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, cloudy with a low of 3 above, then Tuesday, sunshine with a high of 9. There's something for everybody at Cafe Latte in St. Paul, from award-winning soup, salad, sandwiches, and desserts to treats from the bakery made fresh daily and a pizza and wine bar. Cafe Latte is located on the corner of Grand Avenue and Victoria Street. Check them out at cafelatte.com.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
Oh, this is Dallas Goldtooth, and you're listening to the Native Roots Radio. Hoka, hicha, wecha.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert Pilot, and I am here with our friend Dr. Stately, and I want to call you his posse, or is Dr. Stately your posse? It could go both ways.
Yeah. It could be the other way around, probably.
Dr. Stately, one of the things I want to ask these two before I hand it back over to you is, what are you doing for your soul? This is like heavy lifting, and we always ask about that on Native Roots Radio. How are you... Nicole, how are you taking care of your soul? I feel your emotion over the radio, and I appreciate that too.
I mean, when it comes to our unhoused relatives, I mean, and our people in recovery, I'm very passionate about it. I guess it's more, it's in me, it's in my spirit. This is like what I live and breathe, right? Is to help people on the street, because I really remember being alone, not having access to ceremony or having access to things like this, right? So when Sarah came along and they came along with all this, I was kind of like doing things like this out in the camps and in the streets anyways. People come up to my car and like, Nicole, will you smudge with me? And I'm like, yeah. And I always got my medicine bundle with me, so I'm always smudging with people. I'm kind of known for that, right? And so I kind of wanted to share some of the stories of like what I've seen from being able to have this available to us now. And as we start doing that, a woman talked to me, and she was a woman that was severely trafficked out of state and whatnot. And, she has her story. And she said she could feel her whole body when we smudged her off. So we, wiped her down with the Eagle fans and we smudged her. But as she said that we fanned her and whatnot, she said every hair on her body stood up, and she felt that. And I said, that was your spirit feeling those medicines and feeling that. And she cried, and she, but she said she felt much lighter afterwards. Like I said, I've run into relatives after we have done this a couple times now, and they're sober. Not saying that we just healed them, but like bringing them into that circle and including them and showing them that love and that care, and that you deserve this, you deserve a good life, right? And just being consistent. That's what I love about the NAC, like harm reduction. They are consistent. Today I went into the clinic, and that clinic lobby was full of relatives, unhoused relatives, going to be seen, asking for resources. And I told the harm reduction staff that they were looking for, and I whispered in her ear, and I said, it's your consistency, and you're doing an awesome job. That's what it is. Like unhoused people are not just, cool in the moment or whatever. They're human beings, and we really have to look at them in that way. And so I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to continue showing for our relatives. That's what I want to do, and for our people in recovery. But some of those stories, some of the people said that they had never felt the way that they felt in that circle. Dr. Stately has been there and said how beautiful it was. It's brought tears to drummers. That young man that just started dancing so hard after we wiped him down, remember that? And how emotional everybody got, and we start crying because it was like, you could just feel the weight get shed off of them. So we talked about just being consistent, and anytime we get a chance, let's bring that to that space. And so we've been doing that at the MIWRC Warming Center now, because that's where they're at, right, during the cold snap and ice. So I just really appreciate to have access. We gave them medicine bags with medicines, and we talked about that, about keeping that in and close to your skin, and having that on your person, because that's your protection. We talked about putting cedar in your shoes and how important that is, and you only need a very small piece of that, right? So you can have extra cedar in your bundle, grab a little piece, throw it in your shoe. That's what it's there for. The ones that were there with anxiety, smelling, taking your medicine pouch and smelling that bear root that's inside there and helping. And they were like, wow, like just those small teachings. Like, I don't know much. Like I said, I just started learning more things in my recovery, but I can pass that on, what I've been taught, what little bit I know.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. I just want to say too, I have 41 years of sobriety and been clean and sober, and I feel like you have to take care of yourself first, but you have to also give it away to keep it, and you're doing that, Nicole. And I just want to say a big peeny gigi thank you so much. Sarah, what are you doing for your soul? And then I'll hand the show back over to you, Dr. Stately. Oh, wow.
To be honest, a lot of this work really helps my soul, helps my spirit. Giving back. I have, personally, I have not been experienced in addiction, but I've loved a lot of people that have struggled with substance abuse, and I've lost a lot of people that I've loved dearly to substance abuse. So that's kind of where that like motivation comes from for me. And what I've learned from that is, loving somebody who is in addiction can be really challenging on the people that love them. And I try to reframe that perspective because I lost my cousin about 3 years ago, and him and I were really close. And no matter how much I loved him and gave him love and support and asked, him to be better and to try harder, whatever it was, the conversations, my love couldn't save him. And so I tell this story a lot with in regards to this type of work and ceremony and prayers is because, sometimes that's all we can do is to just show up and to love them. And when I do that, I feel that love inside me. It's really a gift and an honor for me to be able to show them that love. And so, not to sound corny, but it does make me feel good. It does fill me with love to be able to be there with my relatives and to see them. And like Nicole said, when we were just smudging down relatives this past weekend at the warming shelter at MIWRC, you just see like the energy shift in the room. We have the drum group Hokahe comes out and they're singing. And we have elders there that, are dancing really hard for them. And they feel that energy and they feel that love. And it's not, like this solution to getting them to necessarily choose sobriety or to choose a better life. That's, obviously the goal, right? But regardless of what they choose, they deserve to be loved while they're here. And so that's really like what, this planning that we have for the next few months, what that focus is. We're focused on, obviously, like I said, hoping that they choose sobriety, hoping that they choose recovery. But we want to love them no matter where they're at. And so the next few months are going to look like a lot of planning for ceremony and, bringing more people together that share that same vision of giving that love and respect and energy in our ceremony to our relatives that need it the most.
Wow, Dr. Stately, you got a couple warriors on here.
Sure do.
Beautiful. Your comments.
Yeah, I'm so proud of the work they're doing, and I'm so impressed and so happy to be able to have the resources in my role and also the institution I sort of oversee to be able to support that work. It's really important. I mean, I too have had multiple family members be unhoused, struggle with addiction. I think one of the hardest things for me over the last 4 or 5 years was to, I'd walk out of NAC at the end of the day and then sometimes walk to my car and I'd see my niece or my nephew, out there struggling, sitting out there. One time I had to walk past them while they were using, and it was hard. I remember the first time I went into the camp of in the encampment, the Wall of Forgotten Natives, and I just started crying, and I felt like I was going to buckle. My knees felt like I was going to buckle because I saw relatives there, people I went to high school with, their kids, their grandchildren in that space, and that was just so heartbreaking for me. And NAC's value, our stated value, we have a bunch of different things on our website that talk about the values and their mission, but it really does distill into this idea of our value and our purpose here is to be a good relative to everyone, right? Be a good relative to ourselves, to each other, to our unsheltered relatives who in a lot of situations have been, ostracized or orphaned. Really, they're kind of out there, no other support system. And I can't imagine anything more devastating and more harmful to my spirit and to my soul than to not feel like I belong somewhere. I remember what that felt like when I was in early recovery, but I still had family around, right? But it was such a lonely road to walk, right? And it was such a hard place to be. And so, the gift, we're reminded that that the opposite of addiction is connection. And so not having our relatives connected to us, not having them connected to this medicine, not having them connected to ceremony, having them understand that they're important, that they're valued, and that they are loved, and they're still a member of our community is a really, really important part of making sure that they have good lives, even if no matter what the condition their life is in, and also, to make sure that they understand that they are loved. I remember one time my brother walked up to me and he said, I don't know what to do with my daughter, right? This is my niece that was out using. And he said, I've tried talking to her. I've tried, encouraging her. I've tried to do this. I've cut ties. I've done all these different things. And I said, you know what? I said, Rob, the only thing you really can do is when you see her, you walk up to her and you hug her and you tell her you love her and tell her what's in your heart. Tell her you love her. Tell her you miss her. And today she's been coming to our outpatient treatment program and also our MAT dosing program, and she's been to some of these ceremonies and she is doing well. And I think that these medicines and these ways were given to us by Creator, to lift our hearts up and keep us in good health and lift our spirits when we're in our most desperate times. And when would we be more desperate than when our hearts are on the ground and we feel completely abandoned and completely alone and we're not tethered to anything or anyone. Like that medicine is the thing that could be our lifeline.
Well, Dr. Stately, Sarah, Nicole, I just felt like I was just in a meeting right now, and I really appreciate that. We got to do this longer. We're going to have Shelley Buck on, who's running for representative again, but we have to do this again, Dr. Stately.
Vote for her.
Yeah, exactly.
My girl, Shelley.
Yeah. Well, you want to stay on with us, Dr. Stately?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks again, Sarah and Nicole. We will get you on again. This has been a beautiful, beautiful segment. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Miigwech.
The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Dionne Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors. The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Dionne Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist. The exhibition, celebrating Whitehawk, closes on February 15th, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
You're listening to Native Roots Radio. I'm Bobby Wilson. Witcha.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We have our friend Shelley Buck on. Shelley, thank you so much for coming on. I know you're busier than heck. Thank you so much for coming on, and let's talk a little bit what's happening here. We have a special election happening. I do believe in a day. Shelley,
Wow.
Can you hear us? Well,
Having technical difficulties. I
yeah,
believe it's tomorrow, isn't it?
yeah.
The election is tomorrow.
47A.
Yeah, 47A.
Shelley, yeah,
Kind of out in the Woodbury area, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Eastern
And
side, yeah.
let's see, Shelley, can you hear us?
Yes, thank you. That's awesome.
Hey,
Welcome
Shelley. Good
back.
to see you.
Hi, good to see you.
I know. I'm so excited. Tomorrow's the big day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's
Yeah.
the day, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, it looks good, and let's get the word out there. We got
Mm-hmm.
one day here, and you're in 47A. Let's talk a little bit about that. It seems like you just won an election, which you
I
did.
did. I won the primary, the special primary. There were 3 DFLers. I won the endorsement, the DFL endorsement, December 3rd. One of the DFLers suspended his campaign. He and I both said at the convention that if we did not win the endorsement, we would suspend our campaign. So he suspended his campaign, and actually he's been helping me with my campaign. He's an amazing kid. I call him a kid, and I told him I apologize. I don't mean any disrespect by that, but he's 22, just graduated. So for me at my age, he's a kid. But he was phenomenal. He's a great guy. And then the other person, the DFLer, she is running a write-in campaign. So I will be the only name on the ballot since there was no Republican candidate who filed. But there will be that potential write-in candidate.
Well, let's get out to the polls and support our native sister. Talk a little bit about your background, because I know a little bit about it, and I was a legislator for Ho Chunk Nation, and you've been working across the aisles with government to government. So talk about that.
Yeah. Currently, I am the president of Owamni Omni Okodayapi, which is a Dakota-led nonprofit working to restore sacred site of Dakota people here in the heart of Minneapolis. I say here in the heart of Minneapolis as I sit in District 47A, but whatever. Before that, I was on tribal council for the Prairie Island Indian community for 12 years, 6 of those as president. So I got a lot of experience working on both the local, state, and federal levels with other elected officials. And as you guys know, being Native people, you have to work with both sides. History has taught us at different times throughout history, different parties are our friend and different parties are not friends. So you just kind of have to work with anybody and everybody who is willing to listen and work with you. So yeah, I haven't been to the Capitol in a while, so we'll see. I might be spending a lot of time up there.
Well, we'll be coming up and visit you, Dr. Stately. I know it's so important to have Native representation, and we really want Shelley doing this.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that I've known Shelley now for a handful of years, 7, 8 years, something like that. Yeah.
Something, yeah.
And I have some family some family members that are married into, like, I think her extended family. But I was so excited when I heard about you running, and I run the endorsement in December, and I was like, oh my God, that's so exciting. I was like, let's sell our house and move to Woodbury so we can vote for it.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of great support. I wasn't sure. I moved here to the district about just over 3 years ago, probably about 3.5 years ago now. And I wasn't really sure how I would be received. I do all my shopping in Woodbury. I have for forever, but I just wasn't really sure how I would be received. I've been pleasantly surprised. They have been very welcoming. I'm surprised at how diverse the district is. They embrace the different cultures in the district. And after all this madness that's happening with our occupation here in Minnesota, I am so impressed with how they've come out to support our neighbors. On one of the colder days, we had a march in Woodbury, and I wasn't sure how many people would come out because it was freezing. I didn't even want to be there. It was so cold. it was packed. It was
Mhm.
so phenomenal to see how many people were marching with us and honking their horns and cheering us on. And I couldn't believe it. And then all the number of people who took the lead to create these groups and organize not only donations for people who are too scared to leave their homes, also people who were organizing the protest. We had the first one I went to, the one I was just talking about, that one was organized by high school and college kids in the area, which is phenomenal. They're also doing rapid response teams, and then also other things that we can help us track where ICE agents are in our area and help our neighbors document what's happening to them. So it's just been really phenomenal to see how organized they are and how willing they are to give up their time and their resources to help their neighbors.
Well,
That's really awesome.
that is awesome, and I'm just really excited, Shelley, to have more representation, because without representation, a lot of the things that have happened maybe in the last 8 years, 6 years wouldn't happen, and so I'm really excited to have you become our next representative and Native representative.
Well, thank you. I'm excited because I am Dakota. This is Dakota Homelands. And I've been told, I haven't researched to see if it's true, but I've been told that if elected tomorrow, I will be the first Bdewa female elected to the legislature here in Minnesota, which, ooh, yay me. But that's sad. It's really sad.
It's sad, yeah.
I mean, this is our place of birth. Everything about Minnesota, including the name, is Dakota. It's so sad that people are getting so excited about that when it should have just been a common thing. But I am excited to bring our worldview into that space. I think people really need to start seeing things differently. And I was afraid I wasn't afraid because I don't really care what people think of me, but I thought people would think that I was some crazy woman talking about the plants, the animals, land and water as our relatives, having spirits, a life force. I thought maybe next they'd think I'd come out with a tin hat, but it's amazing to see that people really embrace it. Of course, there are going to be those people that think that about me, but that's fine. I've had people think worse of me. But to really see the number of people that listen, care, and actually change their own minds and their own way of lives, in their daily personal lives, based off of things they've learned from our culture, is just been so rewarding to me. And I really, truly hope I can bring that to the Capitol, and I hope people really embrace it up there. I know I've talked to some of the DFL House leaders, and they're all, yeah, we can't wait. We hope we're able to work with you. We work with you as a tribal leader. We know what you're about. And I'm like, watch what you wish for, because remember, I'm not quiet. I'm going to speak my mind.
Wow, vote for Shelley Buck. Oh wow, get out there and vote, right?
Yeah.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
Remember, we need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office, and vote. Thank you so much, Shelley and Dr. Stately. And
good luck tomorrow.
Earlier, Rachel Thunder, thank you so much. What a great show. Thanks, Shelley.
Have a good night. Go vote, everybody, tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye, guys. Doksha.
Doksha.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis Air.